Good Monday afternoon, and thanks for being with us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Lauren Lemanchek. Just in this afternoon, the U.S. women's hockey team is going for gold. They trounced Sweden in the semifinal game 5-0. In fact, the U.S. women's team has allowed just one goal through the 6 games they've played in these Olympics. The U.S. women will play the winner of the Canada-Switzerland game that's happening today. The gold medal match is set for Thursday. Today, House and Senate DFL legislators are calling on Republicans to join them in denouncing the Trump administration's actions in Minnesota that they say have violated the constitutional rights of Minnesotans.
What Minnesota has experienced is an economic blockade. As our workers have been kidnapped, less people to work in restaurants and stores, build houses, our economy is close to coming to a standstill. But Minnesotans from Apple Valley to Alexandria have been showing up for one another, protecting our neighbors, providing needed relief to struggling families and businesses. The average Minnesota 10th grader, actually, has done more to stand up to this federal occupation than any state Republican lawmaker, and that is shameful.
Well, new this afternoon, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension says it was formally notified that the FBI will not share any evidence gathered in the Alex Preddy shooting. This comes a week after sources told KARE 11 that federal authorities had agreed to work jointly with the BCA on the case. BCA also says it has requested access to evidence in the death of Renee Good and the shooting of Julio Sosa Solis, but it remains unclear if there will be cooperation on that. BCA says it remains, quote, committed to a thorough, independent and transparent investigation, despite the lack of key information and evidence. Today, hundreds of Minnesotans are spending President's Day as a day out for democracy. While federal officials insist Operation Metro Surge has officially ended, organizers say they're seeing no proof ICE activity has scaled back to pre-surge levels. On Sunday, President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, told Face the Nation more than 1,000 federal agents have already left our state. He said agents will continue investigating fraud and the anti-ICE church protests that led to several arrests. There will also be what he called a small additional security force to respond to incidents if needed. A benefit concert took place yesterday in downtown Minneapolis to help the families impacted by immigration enforcement. It featured some well-known artists with local ties. Joe McCoy checked it out.
When people are hurting the most, music has a way of healing.
As musicians, this is the best way that we can get involved and raise mutual aid.
Nadia McGill with Twin Cities United Performers organized a mutual aid benefit show at the iconic First Avenue Sunday. All proceeds directly donated to families in need due to Operation Metro Surge.
This is not only a show, but it's an action. It's a realization that when we have collective power, we can actually raise a whole bunch of money. We can look out for our neighbors.
The community showed up with not a spot left to spare.
Music can be such a healing and empowering thing and mechanism of protest, so that's why I'm here.
The damage that's been done is going to last for years to come, so there's a lot of work ahead of us.
This concert was a step forward in that work and a reminder that helping people heal comes in many different forms.
I hope people realize that everyone has a position and a role to look out for one another.
In Minneapolis, Joe McCoy, KARE 11 News.
Some of the bigger name performers there included Semisonic lead singer Dan Wilson and Hippocampus. There was also a silent auction at the concert. Organizers say they had an overwhelming amount of donations from local artists and small businesses. We're live now from our nation's capital, where the Department of Homeland Security is shut down. And this afternoon, it looks like lawmakers aren't any closer to finding a solution. Right now, Congress is in recess until next Monday, leaving just Democratic and White House negotiators to work out a deal. The shutdown, which began on Saturday, is affecting agencies like FEMA, the Coast Guard, and the TSA. People flying are being warned about increasing slowdowns at airports across the country since TSA employees are working without a paycheck until a deal is made. This afternoon, Minneapolis police are still looking for a suspect after 2 people were shot inside a car late last night. It happened near the intersection of Stevens Avenue and 28th Avenue in South Minneapolis. In a news release, police tell us a man and woman were found with gunshot wounds in the car. Both were taken to the hospital. The woman's injuries are potentially life-threatening, but the man is expected to be okay. Police say they have not yet made any arrests. Over the weekend, tragedy on Minnesota's lakes after 2 people died in separate incidents falling through the ice. One of the incidents happened Saturday on Bass Pond in Bloomington near the Minnesota River. An emergency crew was able to rescue a man, but a child was still missing. They launched an airboat and used multiple sonars to locate him. That child's body was found 2 hours later, 8 feet underwater. Hours earlier, crews were on the Mississippi River in Minneapolis where a man fell through the ice near the U of M rowing club Friday afternoon. Crews found his body Saturday 75 feet from where he went through the ice. Officials say this is a stark reminder. Ice is never 100% safe. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is investigating both incidents. Tomorrow, state lawmakers will return to the Capitol for the start of the 2026 legislative session. This year, the first day of session will be devoted entirely to the late Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark after they were killed in targeted shootings last June. Our political reporter Danny Spiewak shares how lawmakers plan to honor their legacy.
For the first time in more than 2 decades, state lawmakers will begin the legislative session Tuesday without Melissa Hortman.
I'm feeling it, to be really honest with you.
DFL Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy was elected to the legislature in 2006, just 2 years after Hortman.
People are sending photos of Melissa and me together. It isn't just the loss of friends, colleagues, and their lives, but also a sense of innocence here.
The assassination of Hortman and her husband Mark forever changed the legislature and the House DFL caucus, which Hortman had led since 2019.
It will never be the same.
In Hortman's place, House DFL members elected Representative Zach Stevenson, who worked on some of Hortman's earliest political campaigns, as the new caucus leader.
I met Melissa Hortman when I was 17 years old. I'm 41 now. She was a friend and mentor to me for more than half my life. And so it has been, a whole mix of different emotions and experiences as I've been going through these last few months.
With the House still tied this year, Stevenson will work directly with GOP House Speaker Lisa Demuth, who enjoyed a warm relationship with Hortman despite their political differences. Demuth, who is now running for governor, will give a speech on the House floor Tuesday, along with Governor Walz, Stevenson, and Murphy.
You'll see a very different first day. You'll see the coming together of Democrats and Republicans, House and Senate, giving space and time to recognize that. Tuesday is going to be a very, very meaningful and emotional and important day for all of us.
At the same time, lawmakers are grateful to welcome Senator John Hoffman back to the Capitol on Tuesday, after he and his wife Yvette survived last June's targeted shootings.
Doesn't it seem like a lifetime ago?
Republican Senator Mark Johnson will return next week as his chamber's minority leader.
A week that I'm both looking forward to and then also dreading a bit too with the emotions that will be flowing from that.
Throughout the entire 2026 legislative session, lawmakers will leave Hortman's seat empty in the House chamber.
I don't think any of us will ever forget what happened on June 14th, and it has shifted us. And I think it'll shift us for good.
Danny Spiewak, KARE 11 News.
An update today about Lindsey Vonn. She's on her way back to the U.S. after being discharged from a hospital in Italy. Vonn said yesterday her 4th round of surgery went well and she's looking forward to coming home. Vonn was slated to become the oldest alpine skiing medalist in Olympic history, but suffered a complex tibia break after crashing during her race. She said she's improving, but has a long way to go with another surgery scheduled here in the States. The search for Nancy Guthrie is now in its 3rd week, continuing this afternoon. The FBI now says it's analyzing DNA found on a glove near Nancy Guthrie's home. Authorities say the glove appears to match the ones worn by the suspect seen in doorbell camera video this morning, or I should say on the morning she was abducted. NBC's Jennifer Bjorklund has the latest.
Today may be a holiday, but there is no time off for the investigators who are working this case. All the days are running together, and now we're hearing that they are looking at some 30,000 phoned-in tips since this investigation began. But as Today Show host Savannah Guthrie posted her Instagram feed last night, they still haven't gotten that one tip that brings their mother home. Investigators did have a busy weekend conducting several court-ordered searches but making no arrests. The sheriff's office says DNA from someone other than Guthrie or anyone close to her was collected from her property, and as they're working to identify who that DNA belongs to, they're hoping to match it to DNA on a glove found 2 miles away, which they say is visually similar to ones worn by the subject seen on camera at her front door. We are told preliminary results on the glove have been forwarded now to the FBI. Technology is also playing a big role. Drones fitted with Bluefly, which detects devices that emit signals like a pacemaker, have been deployed. And camera caches are being scraped to look for more images of the person seen at Nancy Guthrie's door on that doorbell camera in the early morning hours the day she disappeared. So now on day 16 of this investigation, all this painstaking work is taking place, some of it behind the scenes, and they're hoping for a break that breaks this case open and provides some answers. I'm Jennifer Bjorklund in Tucson, Arizona. Now back to you.
Check out this video. It's just incredible. This is a very active Kilauea volcano in Hawaii. Lava shooting 1,300 feet in the air at some points. Scientists observing the volcano say this is the largest eruption so far this year, and it lasted more than 9 hours. Stick with us. There is more news and weather coming up after the break.